All right, so we will go ahead and kick off. We're excited to be here with you all this morning to talk about our internship program. My name is Jen Eichels. I'm the talent acquisition strategist at CSC. So I work with the talent acquisition team, filling their funnel with qualified candidates so that we can ultimately hire the best talent at CSC. And I manage programs like our internship program in partnership with Grace. Grace, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. So my name is Grace. I'm the talent acquisition intern at CSC, where I'm primarily responsible for recruiting for our internship program and organizing it as well. And I'm a senior at Wilmington University.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. So today we want to talk a little bit about CSC, as well as share some information about our internship program specifically, some tips on making the most of your internship, and then some tips to prepare for an internship interview. Before we dig in, I will share a little bit more about CSC. So we are considered the business behind business, and that's because that in a nutshell describes what we do. So we are the behind the scenes making businesses run smoother and smarter all over the world. So we do things that help keep businesses in corporate and legal compliance, like managing annual reports or managing their business licenses. We also support litigation management. We also do some things online with our digital brand services team. So we help manage and protect domain names online, including like registering those domain names. We also keep an eye out for like trademark infringements. So anything that would help protect your brand online is also in our wheelhouse. So it's those behind the scenes things that keep companies running and keep companies compliant and efficient that are all things that we do for our customers, which are all other businesses. So we're considered a business to business company. We are located in 20 states and 17 different countries, and our largest presence is here in Wilmington, Delaware, which is where we're headquartered, and we have been headquartered here since 1899. But we also have some pretty large hub locations in Illinois, Florida, and London. And of course, our employees span across the globe in North America, Europe, and the Asia Pacific region. Something to call out we wanted to share with you all were our values. So every company has a set of corporate values, and we're really proud of ours. We consider it the core of who we are, and our values are service, teamwork, tenacity, agility, and being genuine. And the thing about these values when we think about our internship program and we think about hiring is that we hire for our values, and we look for people who add to our company culture by bringing a experience with each of these values. Because at CSC, it's not just about getting the job done, but it's about getting the job done in the right way. And the right way is always with our values. So when we think about hiring people, we do look for people who have the skills we need and do look for people who can do the job. You know, we have to hire somebody who can do the job, but we also look for experience in these values. And these values are really transferable. An example is if you worked in a customer service field while you were in school, like if you worked in a restaurant or in a retail setting while in school, you've probably learned some of these skills. You've definitely learned service. You've learned to work as a part of a team. You may have learned things like tenacity and agility when dealing with difficult customers. You've learned to be genuine and by working with your team and talking to your, maybe having conversations with your manager or some of your regular customers. And all of those experiences can be transferable and provide you with the experience you need to do a good job in a setting like CSC. So we look for things like that in addition to the skills that are needed to get the job done. We have a really cool video on our website. I'm not going to share it with you because it's a little bit too long, but it's an interactive video. So it acts like a video game where you go through scenarios and choose the right path. And it really helps put into perspective what those values look like when you're living in a day-to-day life at CSC. And you can get to that by going to our career site. So cscglobal.com/careers, and then click on the Teams link or follow this link here. But cscglobal.com/careers will get you there. And it's on the Teams page. I definitely recommend you check it out. Over to Grace, who's going to talk us through our CSC Summer Internship Program.
Thank you, Jen. So now that you've heard a little bit about CSC and who we are, let's talk about our internship program. So this program is 10 weeks long, and it lasts from the beginning of June until the beginning of August. And so we look to hire juniors and seniors in college for the intern program. Our program consists of daily work and projects throughout the summer with your team, whichever team you might be a part of. And we have a structured syllabus of other activities and events that are scheduled throughout the summer. So this includes different skill building and networking events. This includes resume review sessions, interviewing advice presentations, and more. In addition to that, we are in a program called Intern Delaware, where CSC and many other companies throughout the state meet every week to listen to a keynote speaker. And you have the opportunity to network with these professionals or other interns who are a part of this program. Overall, there are many benefits to our internship program, so we encourage you to make the most out of your time at CSC or with any other intern program that you may end up with. Really consider your internship as a chance to lay the groundwork for future opportunities, grow professionally, an opportunity to develop a new skill, and of course, to have a fun and rewarding experience. And since most of you have never participated in an internship program before, you may be wondering how you can make the most out of your internship experience in the future. So there are a few things to keep in mind to have a successful internship. The first is proper workplace etiquette, being an effective team member, communicating with your leader, managing your time effectively, and goal setting. So we'll review these 5 different tips in the next few slides. And we'll begin by covering workplace etiquette. So fully understanding and applying proper workplace etiquette will benefit you and will reflect positively on you. So always come prepared to meetings, one-on-ones, presentations, and any sort of meeting where you need to show up and be fully attentive. So this includes having questions prepared, bringing the proper materials, and just being fully attentive and engaged. Ask questions. So this will help you understand the content and will help you to complete your work to the best of your ability. It also shows that you're interested and you want to know more, which leaves a great impression. And always go above and beyond. So always complete your work and your daily tasks. This gives you room to ask for more work and to participate in any additional projects, which gives you the opportunity to possibly grow your skills. And additionally, tame your technology. So the use of cell phones and other technology can be distracting in certain situations. So be sure to keep your phone use professional and quiet. So this includes turning off your phone during presentations and meetings. Learn names. So learning names can be difficult at first, especially if you're a part of a large team, but this definitely helps you build rapport and relationships with your team members, which is great. And lastly, get involved. So whether you're in a team meeting or at lunch with other interns, or even working on a project with your leader, be attentive and involved. This reflects your interest in the opportunity. Now that we've covered workplace etiquette, I'll explain how you can be an effective and a great team member. So this advice can actually be applied to you in your future jobs, your current jobs, or even group projects that you might be working on in school. So first, communication is key. Have open and honest communication with your team members. So consider the following questions. What can you help with? What are you working on? And can you provide your thoughts and ideas? Additionally, be flexible. So be ready to assist your team with anything they need, including taking on additional projects or any last minute tasks. And be reliable. So get the job done and keep the team updated. This reflects positively on you. Employers want to hire employees that they can trust to get the job done. And lastly, solve problems. So your team may need a new perspective and you could bring that perspective to the table. So offer your solutions if you have them. I'll now cover how to effectively communicate with your leader. Communicating with your leaders should be open, honest, and effective. These next few tips will set you on the right track to effective communication. So stay on the same page. This means that there should be a mutual understanding of expectations. Talk to your leader in your weekly one-on-one meetings to touch base with them. Ensure the communication is consistent. So keep your leader updated on the status of your work and your projects, and be sure to be clear with them and ask questions if you have them again. And ask for feedback. So feedback will help you understand what you can improve upon so you can produce the best version of your work. It'll also help you understand what you can work on in the future. If this is in future jobs, it can help you there, or in future projects in school, that can also help you. And be accountable. So for your work and for your projects, being accountable reflects positively on your work ethic, and it shows your leader that they can trust you with more work if needed. And you'll also need to manage your time effectively to be successful in an internship. So I recommend writing everything down to keep track of everything, including the small tasks that can be easy to forget and the little details. This helps you remember everything, and you'll have a list to refer to. Ask your leader how you should prioritize your tasks. So this is especially helpful when you have a lot to do. This should help you delegate tasks and highlight what you need to prioritize. And lastly, establish a routine. So a routine will help you create a structured way to manage and organize your time to accomplish your tasks. Having set times to accomplish tasks will encourage you to get everything done in a timely manner. And goal setting is also very important. So you'll first want to understand your objectives. So identify what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve this. Once you identify an objective, you'll be able to create a plan. So ask yourself how you'll meet these goals, how often you'll work on this goal, and what will be effective to you. And now that you've learned a little bit about CSC's internship program and how to make the most out of your internship experience, we want to give you some tips and tricks as you prepare to enter the workforce and look for internship opportunities. So the number one tip that we have for you is to be genuine, be yourself. So by being your true self during the interview, this will help determine if the company is right for you, and if the company will be able to determine if your skills are the right fit for them. So if you're not being yourself, the company won't be evaluating you effectively, and this ultimately benefits you. Do your research. So prior to your interview, research the company, the industry, and the position that you're interviewing for. You'll learn insightful information that will help determine if this position's a good fit for you, and you'll be able to answer some interview questions better. Learn the company's values and mission. So how do you resonate with the company's values and mission? Create your message. So think about the role you're interviewing for and the skills you have that make you a match for the position. Prepare your message to tell the story as to why you're the best fit for this role. And review possible questions and practice. So practice answering popular interview questions to be fully prepared. Additionally, determine what you want the hiring managers to know about you. Be sure to tie your main points to the interview answers. And lastly, get ready. So prepare your materials, test your laptop, print your resume, and bring a pen and notepad. And of course, dress professionally. Whether you're remote or on site, you should always wear your best professional attire. Pretty much do everything that you need to do to have a successful interview. And we also want to share some virtual interviewing tips with you all, given the current state of the world. This might be very helpful since many employers are shifting to virtual interviewing. So the key here is to practice. I recommend recording yourself to listen to how you sound. So ask yourself the following questions after you listen to your practice interview. So, do you sound enthusiastic and engaged? Are your answers complete? Are you smiling? Is your posture and appearance presentable? Again, although you're not going into the office, do you have your professional attire on? And make sure you're not using too many fillers. Also, do a test run of your technology before the interview to ensure everything's running smoothly. And make sure that your background is clean and free of distractions so the hiring manager can have their full attention on you rather than anything around you. And now that we've covered the ins and outs of how to successfully interview, I'd like to share some tips with you for after the interview. So send a thank you note, send the hiring managers a thank you email or note after the interview. And don't forget to gather their emails before leaving the interview. People tend to forget this a lot, but it's very important. And ask for the next steps. So ask them when you'll hear back. And if there's anything that you need to do in the meantime, this will help you understand what the process will look like for you in the next few days or few weeks. And be patient. So especially right now, schedules can be pretty crazy, and hiring teams are trying to balance their work lives and their professional lives, as you are as well. So you can always check in with them, but be prepared for the hiring process to possibly take up to a few weeks. And lastly, send your interviewers a LinkedIn request so that a hiring team and the recruiter, this is a great way to stay connected for future opportunities, for company updates, and for job openings. So I definitely recommend connecting with them on LinkedIn. And now that we've covered how to have a successful internship, how to have a great interview, and how to follow up with an interview, I just want to share with you our social media pages. So we invite you to connect with us on our social media pages. It's definitely the best way to stay up to date with company events, company updates, and possible job opportunities. But so I will now turn it over to Jen to get started on our Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Grace. Great information. I hope that you found that all helpful. And I think, Paige, you have some questions queued up for us?
I do. I want to thank you guys so much, Jen and Grace. This has been really great finding out about CSC. And I'm going to jump right in from the questions from the students. So the first question is, how many interns do you have at a time?
Yeah, we've gone from around 20 in 2014, and this year we have, what's the requested count? 56 for summer of 2021?
Yes, 56.
So we've gone back and forth. We've been between 30 and 40 the last couple of years. This year is the first year that we've expanded our locations that we host interns to some of our global positions. So we saw an increase this year. But it is really competitive. We receive when we have around 30 to 40, we typically receive over 1,400 applications for that number of positions. So we have a really great reputation in the state of Delaware for our internship program and careers. So it's definitely a competitive program.
That's great.
Yeah.
Chris wanted to know, do you have any tips for interviewing for an internship when you don't have a lot of experience or a lot on your resume?
Yeah, Grace, do you take that one?
Yeah, of course. So for the interviewing aspect of things, whenever someone doesn't have too much experience, I like to hear that they did a lot of research on the company. It's great to know that they looked into like what we do, and it shows that they're excited for the opportunity. So definitely do your research and show your knowledge during the interview. I mean, that's something that you want the interviewers to know. So I recommend doing that, and look into the mission and values. That's really important as well. Try to connect your answers with our values. So give me an example of a time that you had to use teamwork in maybe a past job or a project that you worked on in school. And then for the resume portion, if you don't have too much experience, I recommend putting all of your school experience on there. So put classes that you've taken that could be relevant to the position. That's really helpful. If you've received any certificates in your class, that's great as well. And if you're involved in any clubs or organizations at school, that's always a plus. So you can always tie your school experience into possible job experience if needed.
Yeah, Grace, I would definitely echo that. And, taking our values as an example, even if you haven't had any prior job experience, you definitely worked on a team project in school or had some tough conversations with your teachers or professors. So think about the experience that you have in within school projects, within the classroom setting, or even within some of the organizations like team sports or like educational organizations or after school clubs kind of thing. They're like, think about those values, like figure out what values the company has and then make some notes and align them to your experience so that you have some examples ready to go. Companies are typically, and we in particular, are always looking for actual examples of the behavior that you did. So that's where that prep that Grace talked about, connecting your experience and examples to what the company is looking for, will really come into play and make you stand out.
Yeah, definitely. I think those are some great tips. So another student wanted to ask, how has the internships changed because of the pandemic, as well as generally working at CSC? Has that changed?
Yeah, so for the internship program, this past summer, we went 95% of us were virtual. So a few interns were in the office, but most of us were working from home on our laptops. And it changed in the sense that we weren't able to physically, connect with these people and meet them in person. But when I organized the internship program this past spring, I had to adapt and come up with some remote activities for us to do. So the same quality of work was given, the same types of activities. So we still had virtual networking events and resume review sessions. Every other week we would meet as an intern program just to talk with everyone and just to see how they were doing. So the sense of community and the sense of impactful work is definitely still there, just a little different in the sense that we weren't physically able to meet. But working at CSC, it's changed because many of us are working from home, I should say, not all of us. But my team in particular, we still have meetings throughout the week and we talk like we're in the office. So I think that's really great. And do you want to expand upon that, Jen?
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Grace here, who did such a great job pivoting our program so that we could still have an internship last year. A lot of companies had to cancel their program because they weren't set up to host interns in a remote environment. And we were. And Grace did a great job keeping everyone engaged and relying on our technology like Teams and Microsoft Teams and our SharePoint site to keep everyone engaged. And CSC as a whole has done a really great job transitioning to a remote environment, with the exception of business critical teams that need to be in the office, people who are hands-on opening mail or hands-on working on technology. And we've received just astounding feedback from our employees in surveys about the work that our CEO has done and our company has done, communicating and making it easy for people to transition and balance their work and personal lives. So we're really proud of that.
That's great. So this is a question for both of you, Grace and Jen. What is the best part of working at CSC?
Sure. So for me, it's definitely a great place to learn and grow. So prior to working at CSC, I had never actually had HR experience before. So when I joined the team, it was definitely, I guess you could say, a little bit of a shock. It was just very different from what I was used to working in a restaurant in the past. But the team was so great with sharing their knowledge and teaching me everything that I need to know about recruiting and about HR. So I've learned so much, and specifically the team, they let me jump in different projects that interest me, and I've been able to dip my feet in a couple of different projects that have really helped me learn. And I'll definitely be staying with the company for a couple of years. So it's a great place to grow your career as well.
Great answer, Grace. Yeah, I would kind of echo that in that for me, it's the chance to own and develop your career and projects. So earlier in the presentation, Grace talked a lot about asking for additional work or proving yourself so that you can take on additional projects. And sitting in a seat across from us, you might be saying, well, why would I want more work? And the answer is that it's because that more work and additional projects and projects that might be outside of your usual role or usual skill set are those developmental opportunities that a lot of companies don't always offer you because they're too big and you have to stay in your lane, you have to stay in your silo. But what I like about CSC is that we're agile and we're the right size so that you can raise your hand and say, I'm interested in learning more about this, or I have an idea. And most often you're given a chance to take the reins on a project, which then gives you a chance to grow.
That's great. That's awesome. All right. So another student asked, any what not to do tips in an interview?
I would say, so when you interview, of course, an interviewer is going to ask you why this position, why this company. Have a well-supported answer. A lot of people might say, I just want to get my foot in the door somewhere. We want to hear that you genuinely want to be a part of the CSC team because our mission and our values resonate with you, and because you looked into the work we've done and it sounds so interesting. So make sure you really know why you want this position.
Yeah, the other tip I would say would be to know your audience. One thing we like to share is questions around benefits or compensation or how much you're going to make or your time off should be directed to your HR person, so your recruiter or your talent acquisition person, not to the hiring manager or the hiring team. That could be a turnoff for them because very similar to like Grace said, we want to hear you're interested in the company. Hiring managers want to hear that you're interested in their team and the role and the work that you're doing. And if you're focused on kind of the important stuff, but the stuff that you can kind of cross off with your recruiter, that might be a turnoff for them.
Great. A student asked, how long are internships there typically?
Yeah, so our summer intern program runs from, it's 10 weeks long, runs from the beginning of June until the beginning of August. But all of our interns are given the opportunity to have their internships extended or even receive full-time offers. So this past summer, we've had a handful of interns stay on the team with us as interns get their internships extended, as well as we've had some people stay on and get these full-time offers. So typically it's about 10 weeks in the summer, but it's possible for it to be longer.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to wrap it up. I did want to end on one comment that came in. That's not a question, but Corey wrote in and said, it's not a question, but I interned at CSC and it was an awesome experience and I enjoyed my time there. So wanted to let you guys know that someone was writing in who was an intern. So
that's great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here today, Jen and Grace. This has been a great session and we really enjoyed learning about the opportunities at CSC.